What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to take off the tires and how to change out your chain and sprockets. Stay tuned. That is exactly right, ladies and gentlemen. Today's video, we're going to be taking off both the rear and the front wheel. Also, I'm going to show you guys methods of how to take the sprockets off of the bike and doing it by yourself. Now, usually I would have a buddy available here to help me with the sprocket idea because it can be tricky if you don't do it right. If you do it on your own, you got to think ahead. Let me explain. See, on the SV650 that I had before, the other bike, I made the boo-boo by taking the rear wheel off and the chain was free to spin. Okay, and I didn't even change the sprockets yet. So I ended up having the axle through here, and I had to take a screwdriver and run it through the chain to lock it in place so I can break that forward sprocket loose, which is behind this plate right now. On this bike is really convenient, and I think this method is pliable to any other motorcycle that I can think of. I would use it for all others. Either A, you can have a buddy hold down the rear brake and prevent this wheel from spinning, and don't take this off yet. Come under here, and this should give you access. See it? Right there, you got access to this bolt or this nut here. You want to break this one loose and then rotate the wheel. Break this one loose, rotate the wheel. Break this loose. Repeat the process until you broke every one of them free. And once you finish doing that, then either A, you can have your buddy hold down the brake, which will prevent this wheel from spinning still. This plate will be off, and you'll have the socket on this the nut that holds the forward sprocket in place, and you're going to spin it counterclockwise, lefty loosey, righty tighty. All right, and whenever you go to break that loose, as you're trying to turn it and break it loose, so that tire is going to want to spin, which is exactly why you keep this on the sprocket to hold it in place. Use the brakes to your advantage, guys. Work harder. Work smarter, not harder. Not like me working harder, not smarter. My God. Back to the bike. Alright, so if you don't have a buddy nearby that can hold the brake, drop the bike to the ground and keep it on the ground. And you can probably put it in gear if you want to, it just depends. That will stop it from spinning. That'll stop the sprocket from spinning. And you can then break it loose if you need to. If it's in neutral, you can still do it because the rear tire on the bike is holding the chain in place, so you can still break it loose. So either the transmission is going to hold that sprocket in place, or the rear tire and the rear sprocket will hold that chain in place so you can break it loose. I don't exactly have a buddy with me today. I usually would have Chad available. I asked him if he could. He's working right now, and I kind of sort of can't wait for him. So today we are going to take this off by myself. First step is definitely breaking this loose, so I'm going to put up the GoPro here down below, or my camera that I have set up over here, and you guys will see me break each one of these loose. Probably do it on probably a time lapse or something, but I don't know. You guys will see me break this loose. Then I'm going to take this panel off, and then I'll get to this as soon as I finish up this. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, like I was saying, I got a 19. This might be an 18, but anyway, I'm gonna come in here. I think you guys can see, and I can grab it, right? But the problem is, you're turning the wheel. And I need that stopped. So this is where, like I said, you would have a buddy hit the brakes, and he would stop the wheel from turning, or B, you can drop the bike to the ground, which is exactly what I need to do. So let me do that real quick. I just lowered the bike to the ground. It's not going to move anywhere. So let's see if I can break these loose. And when you go to do something like this, don't use the open end. Use the box end. Gives you a good bite every time. Now, either A, I can get in here and do this. Oh, wow, that is on there. Okay, so we're going to put this on here, and I'm going to get my Persuasion. Come here, Persuasion. Where are you? Hello. Alright. Just hold it on there. Keep it on nice and tight. Just like that. You just want to break it loose. That's all you want to do. This prevents you from stripping it. Yep, there you go. There's one. This is why you do it down on the bottom, so it's easily accessible. You can get to every one of them. Some of these are going to be really tough to get to. So either A, you can do this, or you can use a socket, whichever works best for you. That is really on there. Okay. Did I mention that I hate the kickstand design for this bike? Just saying. There we go. Just gonna do that and break it loose. That's all we want to do. And repeat that process for every one of them. Thing to do, use the 8mm and take off the chain guard first. that'll help with accessibility. Yeah. Let's do that. You ever get that feeling you're being watched?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see her. She's staring at me.
I can feel the breathing on my leg.
Creepy. Alright. Yeah, see that chain is in pretty rough shape. Pretty rough shape. Don't lose your stuff. It's important not to do that. Alright. Back to the fun stuff. Here we go. That one's broke free. That one's broke free. Alright, and then I have one more, which is way up under here. This is effective, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. You don't have that good of an angle. Here we go. Hey, like that for an angle, ladies and gentlemen. Inverted. Okay. All of these are broke free. Every one of them. I believe. It should be. Yes. 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 And yes. Alright, so all those are free. That's good. The next thing is that sprocket there. We got to get that one free too. So, tools. screw it, we'll figure that out. Alright, with the cover off, this is your front sprocket. This one here is going to be a 16 tooth. The teeth on this look to be okay, but with the mileage on the bike, it's only got 20,000 on it. I could probably keep it, and I can just change the chain and I would be alright. However, I don't want to do that because I have plans for highway use and I don't want the 16 tooth sprocket. So what I want to do is I want to change it to a 17. This sprocket's got to come off. Now whenever you go, this is a very, very important bolt that you need to pay attention to. There's usually like a ring that locks this bolt in place, but it doesn't appear that they have one on this bike. That's weird. I'm not used to that, but alright, we'll work with that. When you go to take these off, this one's very, very important. This is extremely important bolt. You do not want to round this thing off. So the most important thing to do is pay attention to what socket that you're using. This one here, I've already sized it up. You probably can't see. This one is going to be using a 14 millimeter. Actually, you know what? Yeah, 14 millimeter, because it fits on there perfect, almost no wiggle whatsoever. But the type of socket matters. Okay, use the 6 wall, the 6 point. Do not use the 12 point. I cannot stress that enough. Don't use the 12 point. Yes, oh yeah, it'll fit, but you have a higher chance of rounding that sucker off because that's going to be torqued on there from the torque of the engine over time. So again, I cannot stress this enough. Use your 6 point, put it on there because it grabs the walls and not the points. Alright, that's the difference between these two. This one here can take more abuse. This one here, not so much. So, put this on there. It's good. I got my extension on here. It's a 1/2 inch. Just pop it on here, and it doesn't want to go. You'll see that it'll hear it flex it, hitting that chain. Loosen this up. See all that chain moving around? Alright, now if I were to keep torquing, I'll end up turning that rear wheel. So what you want to do is, I just broke it loose because I just tried to work on it, but let me tighten it again. Alright, it's going to be on there tight, so what you'll do, set it to loosen, right? Hold it kind of tight and bump your fist against it and it'll pop loose. Alright, it'll do that. It's the same thing. You hammer fist it with the strong part of your palm, or you can use persuasion. I don't care, but I use my hands because I can judge the pressure that I exert on these bolts, and I don't round them off. That's why this is so important. But I have never taken this off, so this is new to me. Alright, and these gonna be gears, so this all looks good. I'm gonna clean that up a smidge. So that's good. So far, so good. I should be able to just slide that right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let me zoom in on that so you guys can see. Right there. Alright, yeah. You can see the teeth on the drive shaft. Yeah, this should just slide right off. And they actually look pretty good. The teeth on the inside look good. So I'm gonna leave that right now just for now. So our most important things that we needed to get done is you got to break loose the front sprocket, or the bolt for it, and then you have to break loose all the bolts for the rear sprocket. Now we can take the rear wheel off and we're good to go. But this is also, for this motorcycle, this is where it gets tricky. Alright, because you got all kinds of hardware back here. This is not a disc brake system. Alright, so what I got to do is these adjusters, I have to back these off, because we're going to end up readjusting and straightening out the chain later and tightening it just right. And then, because today, if I can, this rear swing arm on this bike is coming off. I need to repaint it and get the rust off of it. That's the only thing that needs to be repainted. On this side, I need to go down below, and this hardware that I'm pointing at, that hardware needs to come off. That's for the rear brake. And then there's a black bar that's back over there. That bar also needs to come off because that's the support bar for the brakes. Yeah. And this drum system in here, that's got to come out. The spacer, whenever I pull that axle out, that's got to come off. But I'm going to definitely take pictures of all this because I've never taken this apart before. This is another spacer. So this spacer and this one over here, they're two different sizes. That's important. So that's something I really need to pay attention to. Boy. Also, while I got the rear swing arm off, I'm going to be changing out these rear shocks because... Hang on, let me take you guys off the camera real quick. There we go. There we go. Alright, look at the top of that shock tower. See how it's bent? Yeah, I can't roll around on that. And when I bought the bike, in that box right there, he's got new ones. So I'm going to take those and swap them out and put them on this bike, and we're good to go. So, as you guys can clearly see, I got my work cut out for me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll probably put you guys on time lapse. Just know that I'm going to do a little periodic images or videos with the small camera, but keeping you guys on time lapse so you guys can see me do all the work. So here we go. I can't wait for this. This is so much fun. Oh. That's what I need. Just in case. So I ran into a small situation. I don't have wrenches big enough to fit that rear, the rear axle open. The largest wrench that I have is a 24 millimeter, and it's just too small, so I'm gonna go with the 26. And all they have available, which I cannot stand, is a 12 point. Trust me, I was looking for an option to find a 6 point, but I don't think I'm gonna get that lucky today. So let's go ahead and head back to the house and get back on that Honda. Alright, so I just left AutoZone. I got to thinking about it. Like, you know what? I'm getting this one socket that I don't use hardly ever. And then I got to thinking even further. You know, there's a lot of mechanics out there that have special tools for special jobs. They went out of their way to go purchase a specific tool to do that specific job, which makes them that much more valuable. Not everybody has certain tools. So if you ever come across a mechanic and he can fix freaking anything, show some respect to that dude, because he's been there, he's done that. He bought the special tools to do the job that you need done. And if they decide that they're going to charge you a pretty decent amount of cash, well, you better suck it up, Buttercup, because they are trying to earn back on their investment. And they are showing or displaying their worth whenever it comes to mechanics. So anyway, let's get back on the Honda and let's get that rear wheel off. It's a 27. This didn't want to pop loose over here, so I had to use some persuasion to kind of break it free. But everything here seems to be free now. That's good. All right. That's good. whole thing. Pop that free. And now I just get these free. And then I gotta get the stuff underneath. Oh my god, there's so much to do. I wonder if I can just take this off of here. It'll bring that rear wheel free. I still gotta take this off down here too. Damn. Alright. Moving on. As far as I've gotten right now, I've got you guys on time lapse, so it's gonna fly right by. Alright, so what I do is I disconnected the brake here, and then I also disconnected the bottom section as well for that bar. I'm gonna keep these all together. All this hardware has got to stay together. Alright, so it was rubber grommet, metal washer, and on this washer here it does require, or this bolt requires a cotter key. I have one, it's brand new, I bought it, but I haven't installed it because I was waiting for this very video. So alright, so this looks like it's free. There's nothing touching it, nothing hanging on to it. I don't know what's inside. I've never messed with it before. And the back of the bike, it's gonna be a little light. What I'd like to do is strap this down because I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. But the very second I lift up on this and pull this axle out, pop that through, and I go to pull that axle out, that wheel is going to drop down to the ground, and then I'll have full access to get that chain off. So here we go. Alright, there goes that one spacer. Remember, it was right there. Pull the axle all the way out, and the wheel drops. Just like that. Alright, let me take a step back. Don't let dirt get into this. Which dirt got into this. But, alright, so we're going to set these off to the side. And that's basically what we're looking at there. Alright, so this side goes up inside here, which I'm gonna have to clean that out, all the bearings and stuff, make sure those are clean and greased. But this sprocket here is loose. Remember, I broke those free earlier. That is so that I can now get them free and take this sprocket off without having to strain myself, because I did that on the SV650, and that was a pain in the ass. I almost hurt myself because the teeth on the sprocket were like shark teeth, and I damn near cut myself because of it. So I'm not letting this down because it's got grease on it, which I'll probably re-grease it later. I really don't want to set it on the ground or anything. But yeah, that's pretty much how you get your wheel off. Then pull the chain, roll it off. You roll your wheel out, and just like that, ladies and gentlemen, now you got full access for all of your stuff. Oh crap, I forgot about this. The brakes, those are the drum brakes, and I have a lot of meat left on them pads. Oh yeah, I like that. The inside feels super smooth. Oh, it's so good. Oh my god, that's great. Oh, I'm so happy about that. Man, I'm happy about that. Oh, I was in fear that the brake pads were going to be gone, but man, they're not. That makes me so happy right now. So happy. Alright, and then this should come free. Should come straight out. And these are the spacers. Are the fillers, I think. That's how that works. Is that how it is? I don't know. I haven't messed with this before. This is the first time for me. Alright, so these are, these rubber inserts are, they're dampeners. I can't remember what they call them. It's like a torque dampener. Whenever you dump the clutch and the gears go to turn and the sprocket goes to turn, well, you don't want all of that power just being thrown to the rear wheel. Otherwise, you'll actually break teeth off on these sprockets. And I've seen it happen. People strip it out, and what they do, manufacturers do, is they put these dampeners in here, these little rubber inserts, which takes out that shock, the initial shock, and it saves the teeth on all those sprockets. So that's good. Alright, well, I'm gonna have fun with this. I gotta take all these out, I'm gonna clean them out and put them back in whenever I get the new tires. But don't forget how they came out. Okay? Direction matters. Direction matters. Just like this. I'm just going to set them off to the ground, off to the side over here, and then keep them in that pattern, and voila, there it is. The bearing, it's right here. It feels super smooth. There's no grit, no nothing. That's fantastic. God, I love that. You have the inner bearing, and then you have your outer bearing, which is this one right here. And then this is actually your sprocket itself. So we'll pop that off here in a few. Man, I'm excited about that. I think I got you guys on the time lapse for that too. So there's that. And the chain, the reason why I couldn't get this chain off is it doesn't have a master link, and it goes around that swing arm. Alright, so the only way to get that off is to cut it, or you take your swing arm off and you put the new one on, but there's no point in that. I think the new chain that I've got, it's got a master link, so you take both ends of the chain, put them together, and you have one link that combines everything together. Even if I wanted to, I can take this off right now, and this would give me some slack, like this. Get some slack in here, roll it around, and then there it is. There's your 16 teeth, 1, 6, and then you have your 42. It should say 40 right here. Well, my finger just put a bunch of grease on it. There you go. 40, 16, and we're gonna go with 17 here, and then 40 in the rear as according to spec. So, all right. Well, that's how you take off your sprockets. The chain itself is most likely gonna have to be cut. I will be taking the rear swing arm off because, as you guys can now see, you can see a lot better. See that rust in there? All this. I gotta take this bar off. This is the swing arm right here. I'm gonna take this off. I gotta disconnect these shocks, replace those. Which all this is actually gonna be easy because it's the bolt I'm gonna get after is right here. It's behind this beauty plate. I got one on both sides. The whole swing arm comes off. I'm gonna sand it down, repaint it, put it back on the bike, and we're good to go. But right now that chain is kind of like stuck on there until I cut it, and I don't want to mess with it right now. My goal for this video especially was to get these wheels off, and this is the first half, and then the next thing I'm going to do is actually work on the front and get that front wheel off, and then we can go and put some new rubber on the bike and put it back on the ground. So let me go ahead. I'm not going to record taking this off. Just know that when you go to take these wheels off, you can take the fenders off if you want to. There's really no point in it, but you can. But you need to take off the brake master cylinder. Okay, you pop these two bolts off, and the caliper comes off. All right, and then you'll loosen up these clamping bolts on both sides, and then you'll unthread this. There's really supposed to be a cotter key right here holding this axle in here, but there isn't, and I don't know why. It's kind of stupid. But once you take this off, you pop these two, get these free on both sides, then this wheel should just drop right down. So off camera, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, or I may just go ahead and do it on time lapse. I don't know. But while I have an even distribution of weight, I'm gonna go grab a ratchet strap and strap this bike to my jack or to the stand, because what I don't want to have happen, because I don't know the weight distribution on this bike right now, is if I take off too much weight in the back, the bike may start tilting to the front, and whenever it does, it'll fall off the jack, and then I'm screwed. So that's what I'm going to do now, is go ahead and strap it together, make sure it's on there tight, and then do a time lapse on the front. And Mom is laughing for some fucking reason. Unreal.
God, she's so mad.
Alright, so I've taken out the two bolts for the caliper. I took those off of the rotor. This rotor up front looks like it's in really good shape, so I'm not going to change it. But I'm probably going to end up taking it off and polishing it up and maybe painting it. I don't know. So, but that's going to be for a future time. I loosen up both of these and both of these. I'm about to loosen up this. We're going to see what happens. Yeah. Okay. I might need some persuasion. I don't know. No, like I said, I've never done this before, so. Ow. Let's try persuasion, shall we? There we go. I haven't strapped down the bike yet. I think most of that weight is centered right where that engine's at. A little bit of shot goes a long way. Okay. And then this comes off. I've never taken this off before, guys, so I don't even know. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I have the concept. Alright, so that goes there. This is going to stay over here. So I guess this slides out. I don't know. What direction does it go? Okay, this is new. Alright, give me a second. Let me come back to this and I'll tell you guys how I got it. Alright, scratch that. I figured it out. That was quick. I picked up the bolt that I just pulled out and put it back in the threads. Alright, you want to put it about maybe a quarter of the way in. Use your persuasion and push it back the other way. Unthread it some, bump it back in. Unthread it some, bump it back in. Repeat until you can't bump it anymore. And now I should have enough grip on here to pull it off the bike. Oh, I do. Okay, that's new. Haha. All right, so there's front axle, and then the front comes down like that. The bike's not moving. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, Scott's happy. Oh man. I have never done this before on a cruiser. Talk about a learning experience, guys. Oh my god. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, it looks so weird. But yeah, that's cool. Looks like that's a retainer. I guess that's gonna stay put. I'm leaving all that alone, and I'm probably gonna pop all these loose and polish this up. So yeah, let me do that. Take them off. But yeah, that's a wrap for that. So this was today's objective, is to get all these off. That's what I wanted done, so I can take those tires and put them on these wheels. Now, when I pop these off, this brake rotor off of here, I'm probably going to take it to the wire wheel or something and clean it. And then I'll probably go ahead and paint it. I don't know. But I know I'm going to clean it up though. It's got rust on here and I don't like that. But the actual wheel itself, I'm going to buff it down. I'm going to paint it and polish it before I put it back on the bike. At least it'll look good. It's polished aluminum. The next video I'm going to have for you guys, I'm going to stop now because there's a lot of video footage to go through. But the next one is going to be taking the swing arm off the bike and replacing the rear shocks, and then probably the one after that is me going to take these wheels to go get the new tires on, and then we'll go and slap those back on the bike. And then somewhere in the mix we're gonna get to this chain, get the chain off, put the new one on, and we'll get to that point. So alright guys, well, I sure hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I had making it. We're coming along. You know, it's moving right along. I'm liking that. It's just, it looks really funny. Oh man, does it look funny. But I didn't strap it down. The weight of the bike is centered over the jack, which is good. I like that. I like that a lot. And things don't look like they're in bad shape. They just need a little bit of cleaning up and some re-greasing. And I think we're in business. So anyway, if you guys happen to like the content of this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe down below. If you guys have any other comments about this bike and any other direction that you'd like me to go with it, please feel free to let me know down below as well. Definitely stay tuned for the next videos that are going to come up, because I've got something special in line for y'all. So I think y'all might like that too. But in the meantime, y'all take it easy. I love you. Bye. That is exactly right, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be focusing on Mom walking out the garage door. Talk about timing. Blooper.
I forgot to stop her dog.
You probably did. Poor dog.